Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So in this session, we will take it forward, the discussion on non-dual meditation, and also a number of questions which were there in the afternoon session and earlier sessions. We will take those up. I will not explain the meditation too much because it's on the same pattern as what we did yesterday. Remember what we did yesterday? We took up any thought and then we went through a 3-stage meditation. First was, whatever the thought or sensation, I am the witness of that. I am drashta, that is drishya. Then second stage is, this drashta, this consciousness, this awareness, it is asanga, non-attached. It is existence, awareness, peace. Ananda, I'm calling it peace. It is self-luminous. It is without duality, dvaita vanchita. That without duality we understand today. Because yesterday, up to yesterday, it seemed quite dualistic. Drashta is there, drishya is there. So, two are there. But now we realize what we call the drishya, the appearance, is actually nothing but the drashta, that consciousness with names and forms. It's appearing to you. You are appearing to yourself. Exactly as all the drishya in your dreams, whatever we dream about, whoever we see, wherever we are, whatever we see, whatever we experience, all of those are nothing but you appearing to yourself. Isn't it? Dreams are that. Your own mind is appearing to yourself. Is there anybody else there actually in the dream? Is there anything else there actually in the dream? Is there any place there actually in the dream? No. It's just your mind appearing to yourself as an object. Similarly, in the waking also, in this situation also, it is just you, the consciousness, appearing to yourself with names and forms. So, dvaita vanchitaha, really speaking, metaphysically speaking, there is no countable second other than you. Then you stay like that, this consciousness I am, using those words as a support. The first one is called Drishya Anuviddha Antara Savikalpa Samadhi. The second one is called Shabda Anuviddha Antara Savikalpa Samadhi. Stay like that. When you are more or less steady, then drop both the object and the words. Both supports, they are supports. Drop them. Just remain as awareness. Even this remaining as awareness, it's also a concept. Just let it go. What is there? Words cannot express anymore. That will be called Antara Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Exactly like that. Now we are ready, because now we know whatever we see externally, so-called external, is actually not external. Is consciousness alone appearing. You are appearing to yourself as this world, as everybody else. So pick up anything in the so-called external world, whatever, and focus on it. Then we will see. Three practices. Verse number 27. Ridiva Bahya Deshepi, Ridiva Bahya Deshepi, Yasmin Kasminscha Vastuni, Yasmin Kasminscha Vastuni, Samadhiradya Sanmatra, Samadhiradya Sanmatra, Nama Rupa Prithakkritihi, Nama Rupa Prithakkritihi. The first kind of samadhi is possible with the help of any external object, as it is with the help of an internal object. In the samadhi, name and form are separated from what is pure existence or Brahman. So what do? Ridiva Bahya Deshepi. Just like you picked up any object in your mind earlier, yesterday. Any thought, good, bad, religious, worldly, spiritual, restless, peaceful, whatever condition your mind is, pick it up. And then you use it for locating yourself as the witness consciousness. In the same way, Look outside, so-called outside. Outside means outside this body, outside this individual personality. Here in this universe, take up any object, this microphone, this table, this space, this room, this shirt, one flower, take it up. Then, yasmin kasminscha vastuni, in whatever object, then notice. Sanmatra nama rupa pritakriti. This is the method. Notice in all these objects here, what is common? Table is, chair is, microphone is, man is, woman is, room is, space is. Names and forms are changing, but they are all is. The isness is there everywhere. We normally think that these things have existence. But how about thinking of an ocean of existence in which waves are appearing as various objects? What is the reality here? Existence. And how is it appearing to us? As table, microphone, man, woman, space, room, flower. Is, you see the astitva everywhere. Our common sense approach is, so look at the river. In the river we feel those waves are there, and in those waves there is water. But isn't it a more logical way of speaking if you say in the river or in the lake, water is there and water is coming as waves sometimes? It's not that there's something called a wave in that water has been put. It's water which is appearing as a wave. Similarly, it's not that things have the existence. Existence appears as things. English language, we will say, any language, chair exists. But Vedanta we'll have to reverse the language. You have to say existence chairs, existence tables. These are all differences, are name form differences. So, nama rupa, and say sanmatra nama rupa pritakriti. In your understanding, mentally do a viveka. Separate existence from name and form. In your understanding. Feel that there is an ocean of isness. And that ocean of isness alone is appearing as various objects. Take any object, you will find isness is there. Otherwise, how will it appear to you? Now the interesting thing is, this isness is nothing other than that I am. You will notice in your own experience. We think it is out there, but it's not out there. It is that very I am from which mind, indriyas, body, external world is borrowing, so-called external world is borrowing existence. Think about the objects in a dream. They also seem to exist. But their existence is entirely borrowed from the dreaming mind. You, the dreamer, you lend existence, so-called existence, to everything in the dream. Similarly, you, the I am, the drashta, you are lending existence to whatever is arising in your experience. You try it yourself, you will see, it will seem more logical. And see, I am. And see, if things are existing, you will feel those existences all point back to you. It is your own existence which is reflected in the existence of things. It sounds strange, but actually it is. It is a sakshi, which is the locus of Chaitanya, and it is Chaitanya itself and Sat itself. And all these others which seem to exist, they borrow Sat from you. So in all these experiences, please carefully concentrate on the Sat, not on the name and form. You feel this has existence. It is. Those people, they exist. You just try to feel isness. Use that term which I like. Nowadays people are using new Vedantins, presence. Presence has a combination of existence and awareness. Presence. It is your presence which is lending existence to all these names and forms. If you try to focus on the name and form of that thing, then drop the name and form, just try to focus on isness, you will feel it is indistinguishable from your own isness. You see? When you do that, slowly come to the second phase of the meditation. Use words for support. Use words for support. Vedantic text. Just like you used in the yesterday's meditation, now you will use another set of Vedantic text. Akhandaika rasam vastu, akhandaika rasam vastu, Satchidananda lakshanam, Satchidananda lakshanam, Ityavicchinna chinteyam, Ityavicchinna chinteyam, Samadhir madhyamo bhavet, Samadhir madhyamo bhavet. The entity which is always of the same nature and unlimited by space, time, etc., and which is characterized by existence, consciousness, bliss, is verily Brahman. Such uninterrupted reflection is called the intermediate absorption, that is Savikalpa Samadhi, associated with sound or object, associated with words, with text. What will you repeat? When you say isness, presence, isness, awareness. When you drop names and forms, only isness, awareness remains. When you ignore the name and form of necklace and ring and bracelet, only gold remains. So, in that way, when you think like that, you will say Akhanda Eka Rasam Vastu, undivided, one ocean of existence. So-called objects are waves in this ocean of existence. Ashtavakra sings, Mai Ananta Mahambodau Vishwa Vichi Swabhavata Udetu Vastamayatu Name Vriddhi Navakshati. In me, the undivided ocean of existence, the world arises like a wave. Let it arise, let it subside. I neither gain nor lose anything. Let birth come, I do not gain anything. Let death come, I do not lose anything. Let success come, I actually do not gain anything. Let loss come, I do not lose anything. Just as the ocean does not increase when the waves rise, ocean does not decrease when the waves subside, water does not increase if it arises as a wave, water does not decrease if the wave subsides. Similarly, names and forms may arise and subside. I as this one presence without any attribute, without any feature, featureless existence. I neither gain nor lose. Akhanda Eka Rasam Vastu. I am that is Brahman. That is Satchidananda. Existence, awareness, peace. This Ananda, I am calling it peace, I am calling it Purnatva, fullness. Okay. Iti avichinna chinta. If you continuously hold on to this, one isness, when will the dining bell go isness? No, then that is different chinta. This one isness. Something is happening outside, that isness alone with that name and form. I notice the isness. Something is happening inside, some thoughts come up, that isness alone. Inside, in thoughts, it's easier to focus on chit, consciousness. Outside the world, it is easier to focus on isness. But it's the same thing. It is that I am. The am portion of it is isness, the I portion of it is awareness. But it's one thing. It's one thing only. If you do it continuously without break, this is called Shabda Viddha Bahi Savikalpa Samadhi. External Savikalpa Samadhi supported by Vedantic text. Big name. Then keep on doing this, a kind of absorption will come. When that absorption comes, just naturally drop the object, drop the words. Don't try to think of the object, table, chair. Don't think like that. Just presence. And that Akhanda Eka Rasam Vastu, Satchidananda Lakshanam, drop that also. Just the presence. Sat. Being itself. Then what will happen? Then number 29. Stabdi bhavo rasa swadat, stabdi bhavo rasa swadat, Tritiya purvavanmataha, Tritiya purvavanmataha, Etai samadhibhi shadbhi, etai samadhibhi shadbhi, nayet kalam nirantaram, nayet kalam nirantaram. The insensibility of the mind to external objects as before, on account of the experience of bliss, is designated as the third kind of samadhi, nirvikalpa. The practitioner should uninterruptedly spend his time in these 6 kinds of samadhi. Stabdhi bhava, deep absorption will come. Let go of object, let go of Vedantic texts, any kind of noting, oh, it is uninterrupted existence, limitless existence, forget all that. Just drop it and just be that. And you will see a great bliss, a great absorption will come. This is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This is Bahi Nirvikalpa Samadhi, external Nirvikalpa. Why external? Nothing external about it. Just because you started with an external object. Now he is saying, these 6 kinds of Samadhi, spend your time with this. What are the 6 kinds of Samadhi? First, divide into internal, external. In internal Samadhi, you pick up object-supported internal Savikalpa Samadhi. Second, word, text-supported internal Savikalpa Samadhi. Then finally, internal Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Actually, internal Nirvikalpa Samadhi and external Nirvikalpa Samadhi, no difference is there. It's just the starting point was different. Then external, take up any object externally and think about its existence, not about what object it is. So that will be object-supported external Savikalpa Samadhi. Then drop the object, go on to the text. That you notice that isness is uninterrupted. Akhanda ekara, it's the same everywhere. Good person, bad person, good conditions, favorable, unfavorable, everywhere there is presence. There is presence. So, isness. Akhanda ekarasam vastu satchidananda lakshanam. Then that is the second kind. Text, Vedantic text supported external Savikalpa Samadhi. Then if you feel absorbed in it, you need not repeat the text. Let go of the object, let go of the text, just remain in absorption. That is called external Nirvikalpa Samadhi. No, nothing external about it, just Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now he says, this stage, you practice these 6 as much as possible. Right? Need not be these 6. If you go to Aparoksha Anubhuti, 15 have been shown. They are all of the same type. They will all take, each of those 15 will bring you there. Vivek Chudamani, I was telling somebody, there is a set of 10 practices, non-dual meditation, Nididhyasana, suggested by Adi Shankaracharya, from verse number 254 to verse number 263. Each of those verses ends with Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. You are Brahma, you are that. Tattvamasi, Brahma. Bhavayatmani. Meditate, Matmani there means in your mind. Stay in your mind with Aham Brahmasmi. Tattvamasi Brahma. That is in Vivek Chudamani. So many of these Vedantic texts will give you a set of meditative practices. In whichever practice you take up, basically to remain aware of awareness, to remain in presence as much as possible. Stay like that as much as possible. Kalam nayet nirantaram. Spend your time without a break. There will be break. You have to take meal break. Even Narendranath, when he attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi and came back and Sri Ramakrishna said, what do you want now? He said, I want to stay in that state. Once in a while I'll come down for to snack. Okay. Sri Ramakrishna scolded him. But it says, here it says, you stay there. That what Narendranath had decided, that is good. That is the advice being given. So that is the classical Advaita Vedanta. Once you have got clarity through Shravana and Manana, stay in non-dual meditation. That's it. Then what will happen? This is not the end. The result will be number 30. We have done this earlier, but I'll repeat. Deha bhimane galite, Deha bhimane galite, Vigyate paramatmani, Vigyate paramatmani, Yatra yatra mano yati, Yatra yatra mano yati, Tatra tatra samadhaya, Tatra tatra samadhaya. With the disappearance of the attachment to the body and with the realization of the Supreme Self, to whatever objects the mind is directed, one experiences samadhi. So, after some time, this strong identification with the body, the strong identification with one personality, my own person and issues, this will be dissolved. You will become more and more identified with the impersonal sakshi. You will become more and more identified with the impersonal presence. Satchidananda, Ekarasam Vastu, Akhanda Ekarasam Vastu. This will no longer be like slogans or words. It will be obvious, it's a fact here. In all the variety of golden ornaments, what is the common fact, the blazing fact? Gold. Shankaracharya says in Aparoksha Anubhuti that when you look at the clay and examine it, the pot, examine it again and again, noting the clay and not noting the shape of the pot, size of the pot, variety of the pot, whether it's a jug or a barrel or a pot or a what not. Just notice the clay again and again. After some time you'll see it's bhasuram, it blazes forth. It's not hidden. Sometimes we do a disservice, step by step. You go from the external, from Annamaya to Pranamaya to Manomaya to Vijnanamaya to Anandamaya, then to Atma, consciousness. We feel always very, very subtle, very difficult to... It is true. On the other hand, it's also true. It's the only, most obvious thing. If you look at the ocean, is water hidden? No. You look at the wave, what is the water? First you are told, forget the name and form of the wave, forget that it's a wave, forget that form, go deep inside the wave. In the deep portion inside the wave you will find the water. But it's not deep inside the wave. The top is water, the bottom is water, inside is water, all around is water. So, that presence is blazing forth in every experience. You don't have to close your eyes to find it anymore. If you close your eyes, you will be absorbed in samadhi. If you open your eyes, yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra samadhi. It's always constantly available to you. Every object reveals it to you. Recently I heard something nice. I mentioned Greg Good today in the morning, in the afternoon. So this Greg Good, actually he gave a talk in Vedanta Society 2 weeks back, before I came here, 2-3 weeks back. So he said something which struck me as interesting. He said, every word reveals Atman. We say just the opposite. Words cannot reveal. Avang manasa gochara. And he's saying just the opposite. Every word reveals Atman. So, from the unenlightened person's perspective, words cannot reveal Brahman, Atman, pure consciousness, Sakshi. But from the enlightened person's perspective, everything is revealing Atman, and certainly every word, whatever you talk about, word, table, chair, microphone, man, woman, all is revealing Atman only. I never thought about it that way. It's true. Kena Upanishad says, Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hivindate. In every experience when you realize Brahman, you will attain immortality. What experience? Walking, talking, hearing, seeing, enjoying, suffering, Brahman only. In every experience, bliss. In miserable experiences also bliss. In miserable experience also. Professor Arindam Chakravarti is a philosopher. So his guru was a great Vaishnava teacher in Calcutta several decades ago. Sitaram Das Omkarnath. Some of you may have heard about him. This man Mahamilan Mutt is there. He's a great Vaishnava teacher. So Arindam Chakravarti said when his guru about to pass away, he was very old and sick. And patient's bed sore develops. So the doctors and nurses have to wipe them off, disinfect and all. And it's very painful. So when the doctors would come and they would make him stand up to support, he said his guru was a very tall person. The sevaks and the doctor would come and make him stand and then wipe down with spirit. And that will sting a lot, very, very painful. He would giggle, he would laugh. And they would ask, please tell where it is hurting, Swami. He said, don't laugh, because then we can't understand if it's hurting or not. Is it hurting? He said, yes. Then why are you laughing? It's fun. For him, everything is a flash which reveals, pain is a flash which reveals consciousness. One akhanda ekarasam vastu. And any experience, the more sharp the experience, the more distinct the flash of consciousness. So pain is a very good way of enjoying Brahman. Don't try it, but. So, yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhaya. Okay. Now some questions were there. Yes, but first one I remember. He had asked a question about. Let me put it in this way. It is true, even if I admit it's all an appearance in consciousness. But why should it appear in this way in consciousness? There must be some experience prior to this. What I mean by this is, I have mistaken the rope for a snake because I have seen a snake earlier. So, this is one dualistic argument. Follow the chain of this argument. So, I have seen the snake earlier. That means there is a real snake which I have seen. Now I can make a mistake about it. Okay. The Advaitin answers to this, you need not see a real snake to make a mistake about it. A child can watch a movie about ghosts and then see ghosts at night, get scared. It's not that the child has seen a real ghost, but seen a movie about ghosts. You can see a movie about dinosaurs and get scared. So, it's not necessary that you have seen a real snake to be seen as. You must have the samskara of a snake to. You can see a snake, a false snake, a picture of a snake, a movie snake, a dream snake, something, and then you can make a mistake later on. Alright, this is one answer. Now the next question will be, even then, a prior experience, some kind of samskara is necessary in order to repeat a mistake. Even if you call it a mistake, mistake also means I have got some conditioning in the mind. That's why I am seeing a snake. Where did that conditioning come from? Smriti, memory. But where did the memory come from? If everything is Brahman only? Here, follow the answer. It comes from your earlier experience. Yes, but that earlier experience is also based on Smriti. Where did these experiences come from? From your past life. Yes, then the question will be then, how did that past life happen? Or how did it start? How did it start? And the answer is, there is no start. I'll give you two answers here. One is, it did not start. That is the answer. Anadi. This is Anadi Parampara. Vachaspati Mishra says, Bijan Kuravat. We say chicken and egg problem. They say Bijan Kuravat. Seed and plant. Seed gives rise to plant. Plant finally will give you seed, which will give rise to plant again. So, it is a beginningless sequence. But why beginningless? That's the way of avoiding the question. It must have started somewhere. Two answers here. One is, no. Any product of ignorance is beginningless. This I have explained earlier also. Why? Ignorance is always beginningless. So when did your ignorance start? When did avidya start? I mentioned earlier how this was explained to us by Professor J.N. Mahanti. He was a great philosopher. He passed away just 2 years ago. He's a master of both Eastern and Western philosophy. So in a class in Gol Park, in Ramakrishna Mission Gol Park in Kolkata, he was saying ignorance is always beginningless, anadi. So we asked how, I don't understand. And he said, do you know German? He said, no. So you are ignorant of German? Yes. When did your ignorance of German start? He said, at my birth. So before your birth you knew German? No. Ignorance of German is beginningless. Ignorance of anything is beginningless. Only that ignorance will end when you start learning German. So ignorance is a padartha, is such an entity. It is beginningless with an end. Anadi Saanta. Not Shanta, Saanta, with an anta. When knowledge comes, ignorance ends. So this is one answer. That your smriti is caused by previous experience. Previous experience is caused by the samskaras from previous experience and so on. Our samsara is generating, sort of self-regenerating itself. But why, how did it begin? There is no beginningless. It's all caused in ignorance and therefore you cannot say where it began. But a deeper answer is that this question itself is wrong. if you ask in a dream, where did that, I'm running away, one tiger is chasing me through an African jungle or through a plains in Africa, Serengeti or something, lion is chasing me. Where did that lion come from? The real answer is the lion did not come, you wake up. But if you don't want to accept that answer, you say that lion came from his father lion, mother lion. Where did the father lion, mother lion come from? From their grandfather lion, grandmother lion. Where did it start? Is it beginningless? But actually the real answer is wake up from this. There is no real answer to where did that lion come from, because the lion did not come. It's a product of ignorance. It's a dream. So this is the answer, yes.
So are you saying that then ignorance is Maya?
Maya from our perspective is ignorance. Maya from Ishvara's perspective is a power. But from our perspective is definitely ajnana, ignorance. That's what we studied today. Maya has two functions. Avarana, vikshepa. It hides the reality and projects an error. It hides the rope, projects a snake or something else. It hides the waking world and projects a dream world. It hides the truth and projects an error. So this is the power of Maya, power of ignorance basically.
So Maharaj, the same one, just on the continuation of that. So if that one, the ignorance is Anta, okay, then the ninth sloka says that after that your karma fall, that it's it gets, basically you achieve moksha. So now, so that's also coming from whatever, the moment you know the ignorance is gone, so then it should be you attain the knowledge. So why is that prarabdha coming in there? I mean, how do you fit in prarabdha
Now,
in that?
you cannot. So the question here will be, so when ignorance goes away, knowledge comes, ignorance goes away, and you realize aham brahmasmi. Akhanda ekarasam vastu. This is all Brahman. Then the play of life should be over for you. It's your ignorance which had caused your past avidya kama karma. Ignorance, desire, and then karma. And karma leads to karma phala. That's why prarabdha karma we have got in this life. But if the source is destroyed, no ignorance is remaining anymore. And then all the karma should also disappear. And in fact, it will be said at the end, last 31st verse, all karma will be destroyed. Kshiyante asya karmani. But if all karma is destroyed, that should include prarabdha karma also. And if prarabdha karma is destroyed, the body should die immediately. And so enlightenment should result first of all in bodily death. Who will want enlightenment? You have to call the ambulance. What happened? He got enlightened. One more, gone. Nobody will want enlightenment. It will lead to death. And the danger is this. Then all the living teachers are unenlightened. If enlightenment leads to no prarabdha karma, body cannot live. Body cannot live, they will die. If the person is not dead, then unenlightened. If he is enlightened, then dead, then all gurus are unenlightened. They call andha parampara, ignorance. Now, so for that, again two answers. One provisional answer, one real answer. Provisional answer is this. Advaita Vedanta will say, prarabdha karma will continue. To explain this, they will say two examples they will give. Multiple examples. One is potter's wheel. So potter is making a pot, suddenly he gets up and goes. But he was rotating the wheel. So the wheel will go on rotating once or twice, even when he's not pushing it. And Vivekananda has used this example also. That after enlightenment, song of sannyasi, no more is life and death for you. Maya's veil is gone. And he says, exact words are, let heed no more than how body lives or goes. Let karma run it down. No, let Maya run it down. I think karma run it down. If you see the Song of the Sannyasin, if anybody has it, the last paragraph, very inspiring. But he's saying that karma is continuing, the karma, something is continuing. Another example they used is archery. So you're shooting arrows. The arrow in your hand, the arrow which you have shot is prarabdha karma. The arrow which you are going to shoot is agami karma. And in your quiver, you have got many other arrows, which are sanchita karma. When you get jnana, you don't want to shoot arrows anymore. You throw away the sanchita karma, you throw away the arrow which you have held in your hand, but you cannot do anything about the arrow which is flying. It will go and hit its target. So prarabdha karma has been released. So it will go on working. But these are just provisional answers. Really, if everything is Brahman, even prarabdha karma is Brahman, then what will happen? The answer is that when you realize I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, Akhanda Ekarasam Vastu, Satchidananda Lakshanam, I am pure consciousness. Here is what will happen. You will not feel that so long I have been in samsara. I was born and I died so many times, I did so much karma, good and bad, I went to heaven, I went to hell, then finally I took up Vedanta, and then I did Drig Drishya Viveka, and then I realized that I am the Sakshi, now my prarabdha karma has gone, I am finally free. No, not like that. Not like that. What will happen? You will realize this reality, Satchidananda, existence consciousness bliss. Always it was like this. And always is like this and will be like this. And you always have been there. This whole thing was like a dream or a nightmare. There is no reality to you ever being born, ever being under Maya, ever having any karma, ever having birth and rebirth, and ever trying to get moksha, ever doing Vedanta, and ever getting moksha. That from your perspective, none of that is it's real. None of that is real. Gaudapada says, tell me the final truth. If you keep saying this, step by step you are telling, but what is, can you for once tell me last word? Don't say next, higher explanation, final. Gaudapada says, na nirodho na chotpatti, na baddho na cha sadhaka, na mumukshur na vai mukta, ittesha paramarthata. This universe, the samsara, it will cease right after I get moksha. Na nirodha, it will not cease. Samsara, prarabdha, world, bodies, will it cease? No. Why? Because it did not begin. That which did not begin cannot be stopped. It's an appearance. It did not begin at all. It cannot be stopped. Na nirodha na cha utpatti. Alright, forget that samsara. But what about me? I am baddha, I am a jiva, I am in bondage. Na baddha, nobody is in bondage. But you are at least mukta, jivan mukta, you are there. You, Gaudapada, you are jivan mukta. Nacha mukta, nobody is mukta. But there are these mumukshus, we are all studying Vedanta. Na mumukshu. There is nobody who is a mumukshu. But we are doing spiritual practice. Nacha sadhaka. Nobody is doing spiritual practice. What are you talking about? Ityesha paramarthata. This is the truth. This is the ultimate truth. One Brahman alone exists. The rest of it, what you say, there is no rest of it. It's just an appearance. Take no note of it at all. Immerse yourself in that limitless, radiant existence consciousness. If you cannot dismiss this word appearance, you still want an accounting. What is this? Then you say Maya Vivarta. Maya is appearing. This is one step lower. Higher than this is what Gaudapada is saying. Brahman alone. Nothing else. Nothing requires any explanation. But if you require explanation, yes, I understand Satchidananda Brahman, but this. Yeah. One sadhu in Uttarakhand, it was published in a Prabuddha Bharat. He was Ajatavadi. So he was asked, what is the reality? Yeah, Brahma hai. Lekin ye sab kya hai? If Brahman alone is there, ye sab, the Himalayas are there, you are sitting there, your cottage is there. He said, as if he is, suddenly realizing something. Oh, ye sab, ye to Brahma ki lapahat hai. This Brahman blazing forth. There is no other explanation. But if you require an explanation, then the next step below that will be Brahma. This is Maya Vivarta. Maya matram vivartate. In Ashtavakra says, Buddhi pariyanta samsaram Maya matram vivartate Nishkama nirahankara Nirmamo nirahankara nishkamo shobhate buddha. He says, buddhi pariyanta samsara. Until enlightenment is this samsara. Birth, rebirth, karma phala, prarabdha, sanchita, all of it. It's up to buddhi pariyanta. Buddhi pariyanta means up to that flash of enlightenment. Moment you get Brahma Jnana, all this ceases. No, it still appears after the enlightenment also. Maya matram vivartate. It is the projecting power of Maya which is flashing in all these ways. Then you, what happens to you, the enlightened one? Nirmamo nirahankara. With completely dissolved idea of I and mine. Nishkama, without any desire at all. Shobhate Buddha, shines the enlightened one. You, the enlightened one. So, this is the result. So, prarabdha karma answer. What is the answer? The provisional answer is sanchita karma and agami karma will be destroyed, prarabdha karma will continue. And that explains how you are continuing after enlightenment. But the real answer is, the whole thing is a story. From Brahman's perspective, no karma phala, no janma, no punarjanma. I'll tell you a story. I was in Uttar Kashi about 20 years ago. And in the cottage, one of our Swamis, he was very worried about punarjanma, na punarjanma, bahujanmavad, ekajanmavad, many lives, which is one fundamental doctrine of all Indian religions. Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, we all believe in multiple lifetimes. Karma and punarjanma, these two are axiomatic. Whether you believe in God or not, Buddhists and Jains do not believe in God. Whether you believe in Atma or not, Buddhists don't believe in Atma also. But one thing is common, they all believe in Punarjanma and Karma, reincarnation and Karmavada. So, he was saying, but then the Middle Eastern religions have said that there is only one life. There's only one life. So, is there one life or many lives? That was his whole problem. And he used to debate with all the sadhus in the cottage and they got tired of it. So finally he took his debate outside to a nearby ashram where one great non-dual master was there. And he was teaching Upanishads and all, a traditional monk. So our monk, he told me himself, he went and he asked that sadhu, bade Vedanta vidwan hai. So I asked him, so Maharaj, ye punarjanma hai ki ek janma hai? Bahujanma ya ek janma? Kaun sa? And that monk said, अरे महात्मा जी जब एक जन्म ही नहीं तो पुनर्जन्म काहे का, आप मांडुक्य पढ़िए. There is no question of bahujannma or ekajanma. Janma itself is not there. You please read the Mandukya Karika, Upanishad and Karika. And that Swami was very annoyed. He said, this is useless to talk to these Advaitins. Straight they will go to Brahman or Maya. That's the only thing they know. No question they will take seriously. You go to Ramana Maharshi. Any question you ask, he'll say, who is asking? Why? Somebody went and asked him, said, I have a question, but if you promise not to use your Brahmastra, then I will ask a question. Because you will say, find out first who is asking. The reason is, all problems are ultimately solved if you realize you are Brahman. Before that, there is only provisional answer. There will be a scientific answer, religious answer, Pauranic answer, Darshanik answer, Hindu answer, Christian answer. Some answer will be there. Or more honest people will say, I don't know really. But real solution is when you become enlightened. That's why you find out who you are, everything will be solved. After that, see, no enlightened person has ever said, I have realized Brahman, I am a Brahman Jnani, but Punarjanma is there, or one Janma, or many Janma, that one I don't know yet. Nobody has said like that. So, the real answer is, there is no prarabdha karma also. There is no sanchita karma, no agami karma, no birth and no rebirth also. Brahman alone exists, and that's the reality, it's not a slogan. That's the actual reality. These are all dreams.
But
these are all stories.
Says that God doesn't play dice.
But he was proved wrong.
Yeah.
God does play dice.
That's true.
Yes. Welcome to you.
Maharaj, mine is more of a practical application of what we've been practicing and learning from a householder standpoint.
Don't make this distinction between householder and sannyasi. Many people say that. When I said, but from a household circle, you'll hear a but is coming there. So everyone can practice this. What difference does it make to
So maybe
Brahman?
it's the consequence is what I'm talking
Yes.
about. Like here on this page in the narration it says, therefore the practitioner becomes indifferent to internal and external object once he fixes his mind on the Brahman. And experientially, even at this novice stage, forget about enlightenment, there is already a change in how I'm perceiving the world. Like even a tennis match that I used to be crazy about, the intensity of watching that match has massively reduced. It's still
Good.
entertainment,
Yeah.
but then that same thing is beginning to happen with relationships,
Yes.
friends, employees.
Good. Ashokanji, we are reading Ashokanji's lecture. Somebody asked him that, some lady must have asked that. I'm losing interest and people were worried about this. And he says, good riddance to bad rubbish. At some level, a little maturity must come. You have had enough of this. If you want more of it, go ahead. But he says, I can't do it with the same interest and vigor earlier. Good. That is the another name is for that is maturity.
Thank you.
Yes, Arjun can come to you.
When a person gets liberation in this life, a Jivan Mukta, that is so aparokshanubhuti.
Yes.
But when a person gets liberation after death, like in Kashi, Videha Mukti, what happens in that?
Same. So what happens on the death of the liberated one? When you're living, it's called Jivan Mukti. Your living means body is living. It's called Jivan Mukti. But after the death of the liberated one, or like you say in Kashi, somebody dies and at that point of death is liberated. That is called Videha Mukti. Liberation with body, liberation, bodiless liberation. After the death of the body. The real answer, from the enlightened person's perspective, the enlightened person is not a person. The enlightened person is Brahman. The presence of the body and the dropping of that one particular body makes no difference. It's an inconsequential thing for that person. But from our perspective, it makes a big difference because we see that, oh, this is a great master, Jivan Mukta, Brahmagyani, Paramahamsa Pariprajakacharya, Jivan Mukta. What 1008 Shri Paramahamsa Pariprajakacharya, so big name will be Brahmaleen. So Jivan Mukta. And then Videha Mukta. Mahatma ji, sharir shant ho gaya, Videha Mukti labh kar gaye. Attain Videha Mukti means bodiless liberation. So what happens? What's the difference? Difference is this. Today we learned it is the subtle body which undergoes birth and death. Physical body dies, the subtle body goes to another physical body. This is called rebirth. This is how rebirth happens. This is how Jiva goes from lifetime to lifetime. We read that today. Sukshma Sharira. Now when death comes for all of us, what will happen is the physical body will die. And I, pure consciousness remaining pure consciousness, but I am reflected in this subtle body as reflected consciousness and I feel I am this person. This person will go into some other world, experience something according to Prarabdha Karma, according to Sanchita Karma, and then some part of that Sanchita Karma will become Prarabdha and give rise to another body. Hopefully another nice human body, latest model, like Apple 8 or the phone, iPhone and all, latest model I will get and I will be born somewhere. Krishna says, Arjuna says that if I don't do religious rituals and all like Vedic yajna, and I try to practice meditation and attain enlightenment, like you said, if you lose interest, all of those things I don't do, I just practice Vedanta. But I don't get Brahma Jnana. Then I'm losing both sides. I did not do what is supposed to be done in this life, and I did not get Brahma Jnana also. Krishna says, never. The only one who does not lose anything is the spiritual seeker. 6th chapter. Neither in this world nor in the after death is there any destruction, any loss for this person. What will happen? He says that after death he will go to this higher locus, heavens, which are reserved for those who have done Vedic Karma Kanda. There you will go as a spiritual practitioner without having done any Vedic Karma Kanda. Ushitva Shashvati Sama, you will remain for a long time in the highest heaven. And then Kshine Punya Matyalok mission that is there for ordinary people. What will happen to this spiritual practitioner will come back, the subtle body will come back and be born that Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta Vijayate, the one who was Yoga Bhrashta, who did not realize, did not get enlightenment in past life, will finally be reborn in a very nice human birth, in good family, maybe prosperous, good character parents, and from there this person will further take up spiritual practices. Riyate Avasho Pisa. You will not be able to restrain yourself, you will be swept into spiritual life. You cannot stop yourself. Either something will happen in your lives, you'll come across a book or a teacher, or sudden awakening will be there, and you will be really interested in spiritual life, suddenly. And you will go and attain realization. Now, if you attain realization in that life, in the life, if one has attained enlightenment, then at the point of death, not only the physical body will go back to nature. When anybody's body, when we die, the body goes back to nature. You burn it, bury it, whatever you do, it will go back to nature. Panchabhuta, the earth, fire, water, air, they will all go back to nature. But subtle body goes to other lives. In the case of the enlightened one, at the point of death, physical body will go back to nature, subtle body will also go back to nature. Sukshma Sharira is also made of the 5 elements. It's subtle 5 elements. That's why it's lasted for thousands of lifetimes. But its work is over, so it will go back to Mother Nature. Mundakopanishad. There it says, Gata Kala Pancha Dasha Pratishtha. All the components of the subtle body will go back to their origin in nature. You don't need that vehicle anymore. You are Brahman. So that is Videha Mukti. He is Brahman, he remains as Brahman. What is the difference between ordinary person and the person's death and enlightened person's death? Ordinary person leaves this body, travels. What leaves the body? What travels? Sukshma Sharira. Gita also mentions that. Utkramanti. That they leave, transmigration. They leave this body and travel to other lokas and worlds. Very interesting article I read recently. The brain, the dying brain. So doctors, neuroscientists are surprised. They have discovered recently, at the point of death, physical body is dying. Just before death, suddenly the brain becomes very active. Extraordinarily active. And also, neurochemicals associated with well-being, serotonin, dopamine, these are released. And many sectors of the brain become active for a few seconds. Then everything shuts down and the brain dies. Now I suspect this is the subtle body leaving the physical body. It must be an event, and there must be a neural correlate. Something is being gathered up, rocket launch, blast off, goodbye. As you leave, the support structure collapses. Because they don't understand why. Because the whole biological system is collapsing. Death is coming. So brain should also collapse and then sort of fade away. Brain is such a hungry organ, it makes huge demands on the body. But finally it takes up all the resources for a few seconds and then stops. What is it doing in those few seconds? Neuroscientists will get puzzled. What's going on? What's going on? And people also note, just at the point of death, my grandfather, grandmother, whoever, suddenly became a little calm. For the first time after many months of suffering, there was no sign of suffering in their face. Suddenly seemed to be a little normal. Within few minutes, passed away, or a few hours, passed away. What happened? Anyway, that's my theory. But it's something interesting. Something is happening.
But if it is all Brahman,
Yes.
then the backup doesn't have to go to the cloud, right? It's always being backed up continuously.
No. You have to make the distinction between movie and the screen. Screen is always there. All of this, going from this body to that body, is all part of the movie. From Brahman perspective, from Gaudapada's perspective, all this is a story. But he asked, to ask a question. He's asking what is the difference between bodily liberation and liberation after death. So what I'm saying is, for the enlightened person, there is no difference. And liberated person means that all karma is destroyed, body is let go, you remain as Brahman. That's what happens. Yes.
Maharaj, you've spoken about this earlier on beginning and end, which I found really helpful. We can just touch upon it. You said beginning and end are time words. And so you can't, it's presupposing time.
Yeah.
Pure consciousness is actually beyond time. So the
Correct.
question itself.
So this question, and these are ultimate questions. Why pure consciousness? If Brahman is there, why is it appearing as the universe? If there is only one reality, why is it appearing as many? This is the whole problem of one and many. Why is the one appearing as? Why is the one becoming the many? If you ask, an answer from Vedanta is one did not become many. One is appearing as the many. It is still the one. It is still Brahman, but it is appearing as the world. But you might ask, why is the one appearing as the world? The answer is Maya. But you might still ask, why Maya? Then the question is wrong. Because when you ask why, you are asking about causality. Causality is already implied in Maya. You are accepting causality. It's like asking what is there before pure consciousness. When did pure consciousness appear as the universe? What was there before? But before and after, as you said, are time words. When you say before and, if you're asking a before and after question, you've already accepted time. You see, what is outside pure consciousness? Like asking what is outside space. If you ask what is outside space, what is inside space, you've already accepted space. So if you ask, why is there in this Maya? Why is universe appearing? Vivekananda says the question is wrong. Why is the question wrong? Because what you're asking is, so when you ask why, you want an answer. You want a cause. Why is it grass wet? Because it rained. Why did it rain? Because of the clouds. Why are the clouds? Because of this evaporation. Why is there evaporation? Because of the sunlight. So you want a because. But when you are asking about Maya, you are asking about causation itself. You are asking why causation? Why, like beginning, how did causation start? How did this cause? What was the first cause? If you ask what was the cause of the first cause, you are already accepting causation. You are asking why? Causation is why. If you say what is beyond causation, what is beyond time, what is beyond space, then you cannot ask inside and outside. You cannot ask before and after. You cannot ask why anymore. Because there is no causal link between Brahman and this world. It's like asking rope, why did you become a snake? Rope will say, I did not become a snake. Okay, why did you appear as a snake? Rope will say, I did not appear as a snake. I am a rope.
Maharaj, please correct me if I am wrong. I look at it because all these questions, they come from the mind. And mind cannot comprehend or understand what is the ultimate. So if I look at like this, is it correct?
It's correct. The mind wants these answers. There is only a limit to which answers can be given. Yes. This reality exists beyond the mind, and you are beyond the mind. You are that reality. So you will notice the limitation of the mind. But we must try to answer the questions to the limit possible, because this is the path of knowledge. If from the very beginning you say nothing can be understood, then this path of knowledge will not start. Path of knowledge uses logic till the last point and then points you towards the reality. You should be able to grasp that reality. Otherwise, like the 10th man story, if you tell them, 10th man is there. No, you can't understand. Then you have not solved the problem. You have to let him make the effort and let him make the mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where is the 10th man? Then only you can point. You must let him go up to 9. Then you have to show the 10.
Maharaj, if I could ask maybe a practical aspect of what you just said, which I've kind of experienced even today. If you're going into internal meditation and we go through the sequence you said, there is an object, you're able to realize, your mind is involved, and then you realize your thoughts are coming in, and there is the beginning of the aspect of, I can feel awareness or the presence. At that point in time, there is a bit of confusion. That is that 10th man thing where just when you're beginning to settle in, there is a doubt whether your ego is beginning to play games, whether the reflected consciousness or whatever it is trying to mimic Sakshi.
Correct.
And I'm just curious whether I'm getting confused.
No, it's right. Let it be. Now, use the confusion. tat chetanam, that sakshi, tat sakshittvena chetanam, says there is confusion in the mind. Am I getting it right? But is the confusion a conscious experience or not? So it is appearing in consciousness. I am that consciousness to which confusion is appearing. I am that consciousness to which conviction is appearing. You will begin to see the mind's confusion and the mind's conviction are equally useless for you. Not even, it's not right to say. Conviction is better than confusion, but you are beyond that. You are not dependent on the conviction of the mind also. You will begin to say, after some time you will not be shaken by these storms of the mind. Right now it is very natural. When this new knowledge settles in, we will sometimes be feeling it's all theoretical. I think I got it, but now I don't think I've got it. Over time, when you stay with this, your confidence will be so high. If the mind presents a confusion, good. It will be like a game. You come with the most difficult questions. Come. I have not found in the last 20-25 years any question to which a reasonably good answer is not there. It's there. You will become more and more confident. And you will not be afraid of the questions of the mind. You will see the mind playing around in the blazing light of consciousness which you are. Yes.
Maharaj, the Chidabhasa identified with the ego, which is natural, continues to exist until the ego is there. So when the gross body dies, so is it existing? Chidabhasa will be
As long as subtle body is there, there will be ego. As long as ego is there, there will be Chidabhasa. So you'll feel I'm going to heaven, and you'll feel I'm being reborn again. So these experiences will come and go. That's because of the ego in the subtle body, which is going to other worlds. For a non-enlightened person. Enlightened person, even the ego and the Chidabhasa is an object, is an appearance in you. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.